Hey guys, Wyatt Claypool here. We are just 11 months away from the next Canadian federal election. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is at historical lows in his approval rating. The Liberal Party of Canada is hovering around 24-25% in the national polls. There is no way that these people can actually win government again in probably the next two election cycles. Truly, the only thing that is keeping Justin Trudeau on as the Liberal Party leader is the fact that back in 2013, when they made Justin Trudeau the leader of the party, they also gave him dictatorial powers over the party that limited grassroots democracy to very few decision making roles. And Trudeau could literally have every single member of the party and every single MP vote against him as the leader, and he could just stay on. He chooses when he steps down, and Justin Trudeau does not seem like a big enough adult to realize that people in this country do not like him. Like, I'm a conservative. I find all this hilarious, and it's just guaranteeing that the Conservative Party is going to win in 2025. But it's also frustrating as somebody who wants politics to make some sense and for people who, suck at their jobs and are very unpopular to get the point that maybe they should step down. But I am never going to count on anything penetrating Justin Trudeau's skull. But here, I'm just going to take you through just how insane things have gotten for Trudeau. He is now tied for second place in a hypothetical liberal leadership race. Nanos has been polling who people would vote for if there was a liberal leadership race going on. Some pollsters will say, let's assume Justin Trudeau steps down, he's not running in it. Nanos is assuming if Justin Trudeau was running in it, how many people would actually vote for him. And he is tied for second place. Actually, he's technically tied for third place because the leading candidate in the liberal leadership race going on right now, the hypothetical one, the leading candidate is none of these people because nobody likes the Liberal Party. Trudeau has trashed the brand so much, anyone who associates with it immediately becomes unpopular. Plus, he's brain drained his entire caucus to the point where none of these people have a personality past the fact that they agree with Justin Trudeau on everything. I'm going to get into this a little bit further, but first, quickly, I just want to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button. About 75% of people watching all my videos are not yet subscribers, so hit subscribe and also like this video. And I also have pinned at the top of the comments, as well as in the description of this video below, a tweet I have about this situation going on with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This is how radical the CBC is, and a great case for why the CBC needs to be defunded. In the aftermath of President Donald Trump winning his re-election to a second non-consecutive term, they had on Hassan Piker to talk about online media in the US and why Donald Trump won. Hassan Piker is far left. Hassan Piker believes that America deserved 9/11. He mocked Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw for losing his eye in Afghanistan to a roadside bomb. And yet they fired people in the past for using slightly vulgar language to disagree with those who support Hamas. This is insane. So go down to the comments and click on the link to my tweet. Go and retweet it, go and like it, go make your own post about this, because we need more people to be aware of just how far left the CBC has become. Not everything they do is far left, but they often will basically slant things towards the extreme left in who they choose to platform. I'm fine with Hassan speaking freely, but when it's my tax dollars and we never have conservative counterbalances on the CBC, 100% these people should lose their funding. They are nutcases who are trying to normalize radicals like Hassan Piker. Anyways, so before we get into the polling in detail for the Liberal Party hypothetical leadership, this is Abacus Data's polling on Justin Trudeau's approval rating. It goes all the way back to July 2022. Obviously, if you went back further, Trudeau used to have a positive approval rating. Right now, in Abacus Data's approval rating polls, he's only at 23%, which, is a slight improvement over 22% he had back in September. This is pathetic. 23% approval rating, 61% disapproval rating. These are near historical lows for Justin Trudeau. And if you really consider it more in the 2-month or 3-month or quarter time span, he is currently in his lowest ratings ever. How does anyone survive with this? Justin Trudeau burnt down the house, and he doesn't have the wit. He doesn't have the wisdom to just dance back slowly. Dude, you burnt down the house. Just walk out quietly. Don't walk up to people while they're watching the house burn down and tell them about how this is actually conservatives' fault. I know the whole term. You broke it, you bought it. In this case, I just want him to break it and walk away, please. It is crazy how anyone is able to stay on with ratings this low. And then I just quickly want to show you what the current polling is nationally, because this is an absolute trouncing for the Liberals right now. Trying to find the overall numbers here. Yeah, here we go. The Conservative Party of Canada in this poll, diving down a little bit, but you can never be on top forever. They're at 41%. The Liberals are at 22. They are 19% behind the Conservatives. The NDP are, in fact, within the margin of error, because this poll is a 3% margin of error. They're within the margin of error of the Liberal Party. The Liberals would probably come in third when it comes to the seat count with bad ratings like this, because the NDP support, as I've mentioned in the past, is very concentrated around certain parts of the country. The Liberals like the Conservatives because it is a party that actually tries to go for government. Their support is spread across the entire country with small concentrations of support in places like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. And even Vancouver and Toronto are not reliably conservative voting or liberal voting places anymore. Montreal kind of, but now the Bloc Québécois and the NDP are starting to dig into certain suburbs of Montreal. The Liberals have no base anymore. Now I just quickly want to bring up their polling when it comes to regions and then demographic groups, because this is disgustingly bad for the Liberals. Again, I'm a conservative. I want them to fail, but I'm still gobsmacked by how nobody has just told Justin Trudeau to pack sand, how nobody senior in the party has even tried to make the power play to become the next leader. Like, have your own interests in mind. I don't want any of these people to be prime minister, but be selfish. Be selfish, guys. Try and take out Trudeau and become the next, grand poobah here, because he is actually sinking you. Like, I guess keep going because it's funny that you guys are going to lose this bad, but wow. Here, the Liberals are in third place in British Columbia. They are only at 25%, trailing the Conservatives by 20 in Ontario. They are only barely in second place in Quebec. Atlantic Canada, they're getting blown out. And this is also my evidence as to why that Frank Graves poll from ECO showing the Liberals only trailing by 9% was full of it. Do you really think that the Liberals are leading in Atlantic Canada by 18 points? That they're somehow slightly ahead in BC? They're not. What has happened in the past year that would lead Frank Graves to believe his numbers that the Liberals are suddenly surging? What have they done that's made Canadians like them? Nothing. Do you know that Frank Graves, the first question in his poll, is asking vaccine status? Do you think that's going to affect your polling accuracy? There's going to be a lot of people, vaccinated or unvaccinated, especially in the conservative right side of the aisle, who are going to pick up the phone, hear they're being asked about their vaccine status, and be like, click, I'm not answering you. That's not any of your business, and this doesn't seem like a legit poll. When in 2024, you're asking someone about their vaccine status. Here are the demographics, and this should really scare the Liberals because they are trailing so hard with younger Canadians. They're in third place with Canadians 18 to 29. How are you ever going to survive as a party like this? They're close. Like, the NDP are beating them, and they're not that far away from like the Greens and the PPC being combined together. Those parties that aren't going to win pretty much any seats at all are closer to are like combined really close to the Liberals at this point. It's madness that people haven't thrown this guy over the side of the ship yet. But now let's get into the polling about the leader. So I'm going to break this down a little bit, then I'll try and bring up the Nanos more detailed polling I have here that kind of tracks over time. But this is just the October 2024 numbers from Nanos that CTV ended up commissioning. So we have none of the above, currently polling at 26%. And granted, this poll is of 1,000 people that I don't believe are party affiliated. Maybe they're Liberal supporters, but still, it really shouldn't matter because, in fact, you shouldn't just be polling Liberal supporters. You should be polling all Canadians because all Canadians are those that they're trying to appeal to, not just their remaining 23%, 24% of supporters. So none of the above is currently leading the pack with a good margin over Mark Carney coming in second at 18%. Dude, Trudeau is tied in third place with Chrystia Freeland at 11%. If you're tied with Chrystia Freeland in anything, quit. Do something else. Find a better pursuit in life. If Chrystia Freeland is considered an equal match for you, she is not charismatic at all. People don't like her. And it's not because they're nasty to her and they're being unfair. She's just condescending. She talks to people like they're five. I might make a video later about her talking about immigration, just tutting Canadians, patting them on the head of saying, yes, we understand that you don't like sky-high immigration rates, and we're responding to you. That's why nobody likes Chrystia Freeland. And then there's a steep drop-off. Christy Clark is at 4%, who's sort of angling to become the next Liberal leader. Goodness. We're bringing the heavy hitters like Christy Clark to try and take over the leadership of the party, a lady who left office with very, very low approval ratings and even got beat for her own riding by David Eby back in 2013. And then following her, Francois Philippe Champagne, Melanie Joly at 4% and 3% respectively, Anita Anand at 3%. I would be shocked if more than 3% of people even know who she is. Dominic LeBlanc, 2%, Sean Fraser, 3%, and other 13%, unsure 13%, which I will remind you is in fact higher than Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland's numbers. How are these people even, like, no doubt this is why you guys don't have any donations anymore. It's not because Pierre Poilievre of the Conservatives are having closed door big funder, like big donor, like lunches. It's like, you can only donate up to $1,750, guys. They have been out fundraised by the Alberta UCP in certain quarters, who only gets to fundraise among up to 3.5-4 million people. This is a you problem, guys, at this point. Let's bring up the Nanos numbers from over time. This is truly sad of just how unrobust Trudeau's numbers are going to be, because Trudeau actually, in fact, has increased his numbers in these hypothetical polls from previous polls. He used to be only at 9%. Now, he's at 11%. Freeland, before people really got to know her, was at 18% back in December of 2023. Carney has kind of gone up, and then he's gone down a little bit. The none of the above has stayed fairly robust. And yeah, there's nothing remarkable. Justin Trudeau has brain drained his party. There's nobody with any character. The thing is, you actually want characters in your party. You want controversial people. And when I say controversial, controversy isn't a bad thing. You want somebody who people have strong opinions about. And in the Liberal Party, either you look at them and you're purely apathetic. Who cares about Chrystia Freeland? Or you really don't like them because they're condescending. You either find them deeply condescending and annoying, or you just feel a sucking void of nothing when you look at these people, because they all might as well go to work wearing Justin Trudeau Halloween masks, because they only represent votes for Trudeau in caucus or in the government, and then they just carry out his orders. Do you really think that Sean Fraser has independence in how he is running the housing ministry? Do you think that Anita Anand is doing anything? I don't even know what she's the minister of. It was not foreign affairs. Melanie Joly's in charge of that. And again, a good example. Do you think Melanie Joly has independence? None of these people do. Even Mark Carney, as soon as he became on as a financial advisor to the party, just started parroting the same old things about how the carbon tax is great and how Canadians just need to be educated on how good of a job we're doing. It's a truism, but it is absolutely true that when you're having to explain to people that actually you're wrong about us, you're so losing. Nobody is going to swing around just because you're like, actually, the Conservatives have been lying to you about the carbon tax. One, they're not lying. And two, you're not going to convince people that actually the carbon tax is quite good. Once people have turned on something like that this hard, nobody's going to be like, you know what? The carbon tax rebate is good. Actually, I was wrong that it's putting me into poverty, even though I am now poor, because the Liberals hired a hack to run the numbers and tell me that I'm actually better off when the government taxes money away from me and then hands me a portion of it back. It's just not going to work that way. You're never going to tell people that, you can never come to people and just say the marketing just needs to be better. I'm seeing this all over the place. Maybe I should bring up my tweet here from yesterday. There are people out there who are just claiming that the media is letting down the Liberals. If you think that the Canadian media is somehow going out to undermine they're trying to undermine the media is out to undermine the liberals. You do not watch television, or you are so expecting complete and total, I guess, like whatever you would say, you're expecting such complete and total loyalty from the media that them even reporting that Trudeau has become unpopular or Canadians don't like this or that policy, that if that is considered stacking the deck against him, you're losing. Here's a tweet that somebody posted. I had a response to it, but you don't really need to see my response. This is a post that someone legitimately made about the media who is a liberal cheerleader. Claude here says, the media has stacked the deck against our prime minister and liberals. The push is on to install a Harper's IDU agenda, a Christo-fascist authoritarian government in Canada to fall in line with its U.S. neighbor. Canada, as we know it today, is one election away from being unrecognizable. If you think Vashti Kapelos is okay, but if you think Andrew Coyne and Rosemary Barton are stacking a deck against the liberals, you suck at politics. You are bad at politics if you think these people are out to get the liberals. They'd like nothing more than to just give Justin Trudeau back massages every single day. I guess I just leave it at that. Trudeau is just done. The man cannot even beat his own counterparts in a hypothetical liberal leadership race. The guy is just not going to make it. And Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, as long as they don't intentionally mess stuff up, they're probably going to win the next election and have a majority of like 30 to 50 seats. It's going to be a walkover. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. If you want to support the show, click the Give, Send, Go link in the description below. That's also pinned at the top of the comments. Again, like that Twitter post I made about Hassan Piker going on the CBC, the CBC needs to be pressured to stop platforming these far left activists on their news channels. It's our taxpayer money that's going into platforming these people, and they never have a real conservative voice to counterbalance these sorts of nutcases that they have on. This is a poster child type moment for why the CBC needs to be defunded. Anyways, so that's it for me today, guys. Like the video, share, do all that great stuff. See you guys later.